trucking on, and I'm trucking on. Move her on down the line, another town will do me fine. I'm trucking on, I'm trucking on.
James Ewing, welcome back to Truckin' On.
Good to be back. Good to be back here in sitting in Miami, looking at the ocean right now.
That's right. We've got an Airbnb on Brickell Bay Drive. I texted one of my Miami friends, Eric, today and said, "Hey man, where can we do Sauna cold plunge in Brickell?" And he gave me the name of this place, the Ice Room, which is in our building. How serendipitous was that?
It's good to get a little sweat in this morning.
We hit the infrared sauna. We hit a little cold plunge, 4-minute in the cold plunge. I'm still cold.
Yeah. It's going to take a little bit to thaw out.
Yep. It's a great way to start the day here in South Florida. And today we are going to focus on the DFW industrial market and looking back over what happened in 2025 and what's happening in the market right now and what we think it's going to be doing as we progress through 2026. And funny, we're in Miami. We might have done more deals in Miami last year and more square footage. I think we beat us in Dallas. In Dallas, we did more, but we did a lot of deals in Miami. So the Miami market has been kind to us. And we like it here.
No complaints about the Miami market from us, but seeing rates in the high teens there, it's kind of crazy for the bulk square footage.
If you ask around in Miami, they might tell you that the Deadly Tiger Squad's the top tenant rep team in Miami, even though we live in Dallas. And we're going to prove to you that we do live in Dallas right now. And so the DFW industrial market, we're sitting at a little over 1 billion square feet of inventory. We went from 1.11 billion to 1.13 billion over the course of 2025. So it's 20 million additional square feet, which is pretty good for this slow construction time frame that's going on across the country due to, a little bit of the slowdown after the post-pandemic boom. Our absorption numbers last year just really kicked ass. 27 million square feet of positive net absorption. And that's the best absorption that we've ever seen in DFW that's not a pandemic year. So activity's strong. Vacancy rate went from 9.9 down to 9.1. So that improved 80 bips. Under construction has jumped up from 23 million to 33 million. And the asking rents have gone up from $812 a foot to $926 a foot. So that's just like your overall recap, which is basically like DFW is super strong. And we finished the year really strong. I think it's starting out really strong. So do you want to talk about what deals got done last year?
Yeah, I think it's kind of the last half of the year is kind of the story of million square footers getting taken off the board. I mean, I think it was 18 to 24 months ago, there were 18 million square footers on the ground. And then now we're down to 3, and there are about 11 million square foot deals out in the market right now. No new million square footers are going to be delivered this year. There's 4 under construction right now that are going to be delivered late this year or early 2027. So if you have a million square foot deal right now in DFW, it kind of feels like COVID times where you're fighting tooth and nail for the buildings there. I mean, so Google took 2 million square footers in South Dallas. We heard that they're back out in the market. Amazon sounds like they're close to 1 million square foot deal on the airport there. And the rates are crazy compared to what they were 18 months ago. There's, instead of getting deals done in the 4s, there's deals getting done in the mid to high 5s in South Dallas, and In Alliance and DFW, you're looking at the high 6s to low 7s there. So it's just a little bit wild. I mean, you've got Medline took down 1 million square feet in Midlothian, and Stellar Energy took 1 million square feet from Hillwood in Alliance before that building was completed. And then you have Hayes Company, who just runs East Dallas over there, took another 1 million square feet in Forney.
Wow.
So my guess is that all the 3 million square footers that are on the ground today will not be there in the next 2 to 3 months. And then if you have a 1 million square foot deal in DFW, good luck. It has immediate timing. There's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like if you're a tenant, if you're like a 3PL right now, it's almost like a good time to just take down spec 1 million square footer and bet on the come that somebody's going to need it.
Yeah. If you have the if you have the ability to do that, I wouldn't bet against that. I mean, it's really the bulk market in DFW, 400,000 square feet plus. It's been really, really strong. You're competing against other groups on almost every occasion. It's not like it was 12 to 18 months ago, which I think we were telling people on this podcast. It's if you need bulk square footage, now's the time to get it, which was 12 months ago.
That's right. We were talking about this a year ago. And whenever you say stuff like that, a lot of people, I think, tenants might not take you too seriously. And that's happening in Dallas. And I think it's slowly happening across the rest of the country too. So I think Dallas is just like really the leading the charge in this, but the market is finding balance. It's this little bit of a slowdown that's happened, has hit its bottom, and it's leveling and it's getting back up. I think development overall across the country is not near as aggressive as it is in DFW. And that's just going to keep that equilibrium, where it's at. And then I think we're going to see demand and supply start getting to that point where there's going to be supply pressure occurring, and then the rents are going to go up, and it's going to be hard to find space. And it's happening in Dallas right now, but I think the rest of the country is following in suit.
Yeah, I mean, we were working on a project that was about 200,000 square feet in the suburbs of Chicago and southeast Wisconsin. And when we started the project in August, there were 10, 12 options that we could have taken. And then while we were getting our ducks in a row, there ended up being 2 options within the next 60 days. So it can change on a dime like that. And it's definitely happened here in DFW.
Same thing in Phoenix. We were working a deal in Phoenix, I think, for around 300,000 square feet. And I think there were 5 options on the table, and kind of got to choose which one we wanted, and it seemed great. And then we went to leases on one option. While we were negotiating the lease, they got an offer to purchase that building by a user. That would have been, if you ran the numbers on like market rent and a cap rate, it would have been like a 3.5 cap or some crazy user number to purchase the building. So they wound up dropping our lease deal to sell the building to a user. And then we went back to the market, and none of the buildings that we had looked at and sent RFPs to were available. They had all leased up. So it's just like the market turned in a matter of months from having an abundance of opportunity to zero. We had to just go back to the drawing board and found something, thankfully. But that I think that's going to be happening more and more this year. And then I believe 2027, it's going to be a pretty tight market out there, and it's going to shift over out of, being in pretty nice balance, which I feel like it is right now, and maybe shifting more into the landlord's court. But I think it's a good time for tenants to be aggressive, go take down space. Definitely for these million square footers in Dallas, that's I think they're all going to be gone. I think you're right.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do build to suit or wait on these other spec buildings. So there was 1 million square footer that had been sitting there forever, Majestic's 1 million square footer. And they, I think that building had some ingress egress issues, because we toured it with tenants and they did not like that. But they found the perfect tenant in ICE.
Yeah,
to purchase the building.
Purchased the building. And
are they going to use it as a detention center?
That's what people are saying, that ICE is going to use that as a detention center for up to 9,500 people. The town of Hutchins, of which the building is in, is not even 9,500 people. So if you look up on the news, there's the town doesn't really have the infrastructure to support that kind of population growth or support the type of operation that's there. So
that seems crazy.
It is.
Like,
it is
9,500 people in a 1 million square foot warehouse being detained. So it's kind of like a prison. I don't understand. I don't work for the government, in case you didn't know. I don't know too much about ICE. That seems crazy though. I wonder if they're buying other 1 million square foot warehouses across the country to do this in.
I've heard that they're trying to stand up additional warehouses throughout the country of this size. So it's a sensitive topic.
I'm all for having like immigration laws that make sense for our country, that are and everything, but like, it just sounds fucked up to me, really. And
I'm with you.
I don't know that much about it, but it just seems odd that all of a sudden we have a 1 million square foot warehouse being used as a detention center. But we're not going to get political. I wonder what Majestic sold it for. I bet they sold it for a lot of money.
Yeah,
to go do a deal like that. Like, I bet it. I would guess it was like 150 or something, or $200 a foot, or something crazy like that.
To be able to, or to want to deal with the ultimate backlash you're going to get for doing a deal like that, and I feel like you would need a premium. Just talking to other people in the market, other landlords, it's like we won't go within 1,000 feet of something like that, just because of the political implications that it might have. And
FedEx has a huge hub right next to them. Like, I wonder what FedEx is thinking about this. They can't be liking that. So that is an interesting taker of the 1 million square foot buildings as well. So hopefully that's the last of that in DFW, and we just get some good, solid e-commerce and 3PLs in these buildings.
A lot of the 3PL activity that we've been seeing is all data center related. If you're coming to a landlord and saying, hey, you have a 3PL, the first question they ask, is it data center related? And I would say like 90% of the time that we're working on a 3PL deal right now in DFW, it's data center related, which it's kind of interesting to me. If that is going to be a bubble at all. I know that AI is changing so quickly, and I don't know. We're not in the data center space, but how quickly do those buildings that they're building, putting hundreds of millions, billions of dollars into, turn obsolete with how quickly everything's changing? And where does the demand go from there?
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Speaking of which, like, reading the Wall Street Journal logistics report today, which it's February the 10th, 2026, and the leadoff story is talking about China is producing humanoid robots at scale. And there's a quote in here from Elon Musk: China is an ass kicker, next level, relating to human robots that they're building, like, to be running all of these warehouses. So they're putting the AI in the robots, and it's like Star Wars is like happening. We were talking about this. We were talking about ICE earlier, how they wear the masks. It's like they're like stormtroopers. It's kind of like a hybrid of Star Wars and Nazi Germany. Is if you just look at, If you just go scroll through Instagram, it's
Yeah.
like there's like crazy shit. I don't know what's real and isn't real. And then I asked ChatGPT because I just don't even know what to trust anymore. So I asked ChatGPT, like, what is really going on with ICE and all of this? And ChatGPT says that it was worse with Obama in charge than it was with Trump and George Bush. So then I'm wondering, is that true, or is Trump paying ChatGPT to say that this is true? Like, who knows what the hell's going on? But all I know is that if I scroll through Instagram or LinkedIn or the Wall Street Journal, you're seeing like robots that look like humans. You're seeing like million square foot warehouses that are getting purchased to store 9,500 people in detention in. And then you have like stormtroopers going down the streets and getting civilians off, taking civilians off the streets. So I'm just, it's nice to be blonde haired, blue eyed, walking down the street. I would say like it puts me probably at ease versus some other folks that might be walking around, but I might be a little freaked out if I, had darker complexion walking down the street right now, reading all of this. But I just don't even know what's real, man, because I don't know any people that are personally. I have lots of Hispanic friends and like that have been personally targeted by ICE, or I haven't heard any of this happening to anyone I know. So
Mhm.
it's just like these news things you see. So we're going way off the grid here on the DFW industrial market, but just things to think about. It's apocalyptic sounding times, that's for sure.
Without a doubt.
But seems to be good for the industrial real estate sector. And what else is going on?
I mean, just like thinking about where opportunity is for tenants still and DFW. I mean, if you have 100 to 200,000 square feet, location agnostic in DFW, there's 100 options that are 32-foot clear plus right now that are existing under construction. So that's kind of a size range right now, a tranche of the market where you can really use the landlords to pit them against each other and get a really good deal. In some parts, probably cheaper than you can get 1 million square feet right now. So, I mean, they're building additional square footage in that size range too in these infill markets. But if you're going out to East Dallas, South Dallas, Midlothian, those kinds of areas, and there's some landlords that have had some buildings sitting on the ground for longer than they've underwritten the hold period for, or the vacancy period. So great part of the market to be a tenant in.
Yeah. That's good to know. And yeah, and I think if you're a developer, it's just trying to go build the larger buildings is what's really needed right now. And there's just not too many land sites to accommodate those.
No, I mean, some of the larger landlords and a couple of months ago were saying if there's a parcel of land close to the interstate that can handle 1 million square footer, we're putting an offer in on it right now. And those people are going to be the aggressive landlords that are doing that are going to be the ones that win in 12 to 24 months whenever that building ends up standing up. So it's you have to be a little careful, but on the bulk side, I think you can shoot from the hip a little bit more because of the activity and the amount of absorption that's been happening in that size range.
Yeah. What are you feeling like deal flow wise this year, in terms of like a timeline on getting deals done? I feel like it was real grindy there, kind of like post-pandemic boom. There was a lot of indecision, and then I feel like it really stabilized. Like a lot of companies really got their new strategy together and started moving forward, and deals just seem to be moving a little more smoothly than they were before.
Yeah, I mean, the deal, like a lot of the deals that we're working on right now have immediate timing, and it feels like that we're working them in a way where it's actually going to hit that timing. Like people are making decisions on those deals versus it felt like the past 12 to 18 months. It's like, oh, we have immediate timing, but neither the 3PL's customer or the 3PL could really make a decision on it. So it just drug out to the point where it either stalled out or it was 6 to 9 months later than we had initially thought. But I mean, we've had a couple of deals that need to start April 1, May 1 that have just
they're actually going to
happening.
be doing it.
Yeah.
And that's great
Oh,
as
yeah.
a broker to see that. And even when the whole COVID thing happened, it was this frantic rush to get space, but it doesn't feel like that necessarily. It's like there's not so much of this like intense pressure. I don't know if you're feeling that, but it seems that way to me.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
I think it's because we're at this point of balance in the market. So I think the landlords are responding. They're not getting too greedy. I think the tenants recognize they need space, so they're not stalling out too much. They have more confidence in what they're doing. So it's a nice place. And really, I think the longer we can keep the market in this balance, it's just really good for both sides to be healthily growing the market and taking down space without getting into this mode of fighting for space, overpaying for space, and then taking too much space, and then having that issue of things just spinning out of control.
I feel like the majority of the deals that we've done, both parties are happy with the deal, where that wasn't the case during COVID. I mean, the tenants were never happy about the deal that they got. It was take it or leave it for the most part. And then there's some landlords that really got aggressive. And maybe they are happy just with the occupancy, but it's definitely not the type of deal that they wanted to do whenever they underwrote the building the past 12 to 18 months. So I do feel like there is a pretty good balance in most markets. I mean, there's still opportunities for tenants that have a soft part of the market, and the majority of the places that we're doing deals in, but it feels good right now.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what plays out as this progresses. But I just feel like we're back to a point of where it's going to be a steady, slow climb. And I mean, pending any kind of with everything we talked about earlier with human robots coming out, like who knows what happens with AI. And AI really, we can be sitting here a year from today at the like exponential rate at which AI is growing and evolving. And who knows what world we're living in? Who knows if this whole supply chain just gets reshaped and then 1 million square foot buildings don't make sense anymore, and you want to go put buildings in rural areas or whatever. Like who knows? Like what's going to happen with this level of intelligence that is growing at this extremely accelerated rate.
Yeah, and we were kind of talking about it at dinner last night, but I don't feel like you can live in fear of AI. You kind of have to come to peace with it, or understand it, or know how to utilize it now, or you're falling behind the 8 ball. And, I mean, AI-driven leader. That's the first book I'd recommend to anybody that
you
wants
recommended
to know where to start.
That book to me, and I have not finished it yet, but I'm in the middle of reading it, and it's great. I actually used that book. It teaches you how to like communicate with AI, right, and get it to be a thought partner for you, and how to use prompts, in the most effective manner. This has been my biggest takeaway. So I actually used those prompts with ChatGPT to organize this podcast that we're doing right now. And Chad GPT, as I like to call him, told me that we should compare the ICE detention centers and the 1 million square footers to concentration camps, and that would really up our listenership. So I wonder if that's going to happen.
We'll see.
I'm just kidding. Or am I?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just another joke from ChatGPT. Because the great thing is it really is fun to use as a thought partner to help think through things. in real time. And another interesting thing with the AI is I wrote a book of the story of my life. So then I dropped my book into ChatGPT to have it really edit it and to look through it and give me its thoughts. But now my ChatGPT knows my entire life story front to back. So that's really interesting because Chad knows me, like more so than a lot of people. So it's pretty wild. So the data center stuff, I mean, they're building data centers, they're buying the industrial land. We have land under contract right now to a data center developer. The 3PLs are supporting the construction of these data centers, but then there's also going to be this ongoing like maintenance support of the data centers, as long as these data centers keep going. And then like how many more do you need, or how many more can the world handle? That's interesting to think about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hot topic right now. So if you bring up data centers and you're trying to get the land use approved, anybody that just reads the news knows the toll it takes on the local utilities, water, obviously electricity, gas, especially. And I mean, it's just kind of stretching the grid in a lot of these places. So I feel like if it's not already approved for that type of use and all the infrastructure's there or the utilities are able to be there, you're going to have a tough time getting things rezoned. Unless you're in a small town that would love $1 billion worth of construction going on, a real boost to the economy. I mean, it's not creating jobs really, other than the construction part of it and a few support staff, like the facilities that were taking down for these supporting these data centers. It's not like there's 300 people that are working there. It's 1 million square feet. It's probably 100, which I feel like is a pretty low employee count for that size of building. Or if it's 100,000 square feet, there's going to be 6 people in it. It's like not very labor intensive.
Yeah.
Once the job's done.
Yeah. So, what markets do you think are? I feel like South Dallas is the story of this market that a few years ago, it's kind of like, oh, you don't want to go to South Dallas, they're overbuilt. And now South Dallas seems like it's like one of the hottest markets in the Metroplex.
Well, you had 3 million square footers get taken down the last half of the year, 2 by Google and then the purchase by ICE there, which really helps the vacancy numbers and the absorption numbers. I mean, they led DFW in absorption last year. So it's but there's no million square footers on the ground really there. There's still a good amount of bulk space between like 600 and 800,000 square feet. There's a few options there. I mean, still the low cost alternative. That and East Dallas are the low cost alternatives, but Alliance is extremely strong. It feels like we're competing for buildings compared to any other submarket in DFW right now. And I think that's just a testament to what they've kind of built there with the freight airport and the labor base where they're pulling from Denton. They're pulling from some of these smaller towns like Decatur and things out that way.
And we have a lot going on in Denton right now. What's your take on that market?
It's
that barely existed 10 years ago, right?
I feel like it barely existed whenever I started 6.5 years ago. It was like, oh, you're putting a building in Denton? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I mean, you have a great base from UNT and Texas Women's University there. I mean, that's about 40,000 students. So you have a lot of young talent there, which is good for your mid-tier engineering, white-collar labor jobs there. And then you have a great growing labor base. Like they're going to grow from about 130,000 people to about 180,000 people over the next 5 years is what they're saying. And the city's great to work with. Like they'll work with your tenants to make sure they get in on time. The EDC is great up there. You also, I think, have a little bit of you have a really strong labor base because you're pulling from people that are coming north, that are further north on I-35. They're going to stop at Denton versus going down to Alliance. There's a there's a lot of affordable starter homes that are going there, so your blue collar labor can afford to live there. I mean, you can't beat the access where 35 West and 35 East come together to service the Metroplex. So I think I talked him up enough. So
yeah, no, I just feel that that's happening. Have always been. I just know that one day it will happen where Hillsboro is going to be the same story, where 35 E and W come together south of the city
yeah, I
of
mean,
DFW.
there's a group that has done a couple build-to-suits at Hillsboro, like Johns Manville has a facility there. I mean, it makes a lot of sense there too.
I think that's a good place to go, like find those 1,000,000 square foot land sites and be prepared. And I think that's a story of 5 years from now. I think that Hillsboro and the whole South Side, it just seems like it's only logical for the population to start moving south instead of to keep moving north past Denton, because it's like filled in all the way to Denton now,
all the way up
and
to Sherman.
all the way to Sherman, and it just kind of rotating around. The south is the last to go, but it's got to happen eventually.
The land is so much cheaper there than, call it McKinney and North. Like you're looking at, you can't find really industrial land in McKinney and along that 75 corridor, where you can find it along that I-35 corridor down to Hillsboro. And if you can find land in McKinney, it's $15 a foot for 10 acres.
We're doing a deal there right now, right?
Yeah.
They want to build their own building.
Yeah.
And looking at the numbers there, if you don't live in DFW, like this client that we're working with, it seems like it's outrageously high, but it's like, no, this is retail land.
Yeah.
But that's how it's kind of getting priced, but they'll allow industrial, but this can be used for other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Cool, man. Anything else you want to hit on today?
No, I mean, I just overall feel really good about the DFW market and where it's at as far as the balance goes. I mean, you see a 9% vacancy in most other markets and people are freaking out. And I never felt like we were in an oh shit moment in DFW.
No.
I mean, the tenant demand is still strong. Even whenever we were above 10% there, it was just like the lowest we got was 5.5%, 6%.
And I mean, we were building 80 million square feet back then. So it's kind of like you have these absurd numbers. Of course, the vacancy is going to go up, but I don't think anyone was really concerned. And the absorption, it just kept clicking. And then that construction just dropped so drastically that it's gotten to us to a place where we are right now, where it's found some nice balance. I was going to ask about iOS because I know a lot of our listeners out there are curious about iOS, and we get phone calls about that all the time because it's all the work we do with trucking companies. But how do you feel about that market?
It's soft right now.
Yeah.
And we work with a lot of these groups, and what we're kind of running into is the people that bought them at the height of the trucking industry in like 21, 22, the rents that they're underwriting, these family-owned trucking companies, these regional-owned trucking companies, they can't afford those types of rents. Even the big guys are kind of like, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I've seen a reduction in iOS lease rates, especially in markets like South Dallas, where there's a gluttony of available space for just trailer parking.
And what do you see what does that per acre delta look like?
It's probably in the, low fours a month per acre.
Yeah.
And
it was 5.
Yeah, it was 5,500.
Yeah.
You would get a deal done at. I mean, the groups that have the ability to go out and win deals.
That's for paved?
It's for gravel.
Gravel. Okay.
Yeah.
What's paved?
There's not really a whole lot of paved out there. Concrete out there. I mean, a lot of groups would love concrete.
Yeah.
Without paying concrete numbers.
Right.
Like there's a new development going on in South Dallas off of Bonneview that for concrete you're looking at like $7,500 an acre because it's brand new.
Yeah.
So types of groups that can pay for that are Amazons of the world.
Yeah. So that's softened a little bit. What about we don't really do that much investment sales, but I know that I have a client that has 1031 money, and I've looked around Dallas just for like industrial 1031 single tenant deals, kind of like $5 million esque. And it's like shitty credit and short lease terms. They still are looking for 5 caps for like these deals.
Yeah.
And they're not even really hitting the market because, I mean, it's like people will still pay that. And then what do you think? It seems like the activity is not huge on the investment sales side right now, but it's like there are still buyers out there that are paying pretty aggressive cap rates.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's been some sub 5 cap rate deals. I mean, I would say like if ever, but somebody's asking me like a general market cap rate, I would put it like 5 to 5.5, just depending on where. Leave that voice crack out. Just depending on where it's at. Like
say 5.5 again.
5.5.
There you
go. So, I mean, it's not like there was groups that bought 3 cap deals during the peak, and I mean that's obviously gone. But it's not like you're going to get, if you're buying a Class A deal, you're not going to get a 6 cap on it. And so there's plenty of money on the sideline looking for deals to invest in to DFW.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that goes. So
I mean, if the 10-year stays where it's at or increases, like those cap rates are going to stay right there or go up. But we'll see. I don't think we're going to see any sub 4 cap rates in the next couple of years.
What are these landlords doing for all these 100,000 square foot buildings that are sitting out there to get them leased? I've seen lots of broker events happening.
Yeah, that's happening a lot more.
Have you been to a few?
I've been to a couple. They've kicked it up a notch. There's golf simulators in all of them now. You know, you gotta get people to go out there. They're getting catered, all of that good stuff.
Got some great gifts this year
great
from
gifts.
landlords.
Yeah, that wasn't happening in 2021, 2022.
I got some weird gifts. I got a emergency weather radio from someone. I forgot who, but it was very random. Did you have any favorite gifts that you got from landlords marketing their buildings last year?
You know, not just cash in the pocket. You know, that's always good. Nothing like a weather radio though.
The weather radio took the cake. I got one of those like speakers. I forget. Gosh, I'm blanking out what it's called, but it's a really heavy duty speaker. Todd Hubbard's marketing a building that they sent it to me. The Rhino box or something. Does that sound right?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
You know, and good gift just for any landlords out there looking for gifts for me. Tequila is always a good one.
Whenever someone sends me alcohol, I distribute it to other team members typically. I'll bring wine to my house so I have it for guests if they come over. But yeah, tequila always goes to you. Bourbon, I normally let Amanda take that for Scott.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
We wish Cole Hooper was here with us in Miami right now.
Yeah. Missing Cole.
He's at home taking care of baby Colette. And Keller and Amanda are holding down the fort in DFW. And this is Ward Richmond and James Ewing reporting live from Miami on the DFW industrial market. We look forward to closing some big deals with you in 2026. Let's go.
Hello, Truckin' On listeners. This is Ward Richmond. I have to retract part of our discussion regarding Majestic's sale of their 1 million square foot warehouse in Hutchins, Texas to ICE. That was fake news reported by the Dallas Business Journal and many other credible news sources that transaction had taken place, and it did not take place. They pulled out of the deal. I don't know if there ever was a deal. There might have been interest from ICE, but it's not happening. So there's still the Majestic 1 million square foot building is sitting vacant in Hutchins and needs a tenant. So bring it on. And ICE does not have a detention center coming to the DFW area at this time, as far as I know. Thanks for trucking on. Peace.